Hello and welcome to Let's Talk. I'm your host, Shannon Ramsey Floyd, and today I have the pleasure of speaking with the very funny comedian, Tiana Douglas. Tiana is one of the hottest comedians in the area, opening for other fellow comedians such as D. Davis, Adele Gibbons, Lunel, MoNique, and even Ricky Smiley. On this episode of Let's Talk, we're going to talk to her about the path that led her to comedy, the struggles she's dealt with being a black female comedian, any shows or projects that she has coming up, and so much more. So all we ask you to do is sit back, relax, and enjoy this edition of Let's Talk. So first and foremost, Tiana, I want to thank you for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm glad to be sitting here with you. I'm glad to get more of your story and really our viewers get to really hear more about you and how you've come to be this amazing comedian.
I'm surprised that you knew that much about me. I didn't give you any information. I'm like,
we do our research around here.
You did your research.
We do our research around here.
I like that. I appreciate it.
So let's start here. How did you come to comedy? What was the path?
Me and a friend had started like this YouTube series. And on the YouTube series, a lot of feedback was, oh, she's so funny, she should be a comedian. I never thought of myself as a comedian, but then when I thought back, my mom used to always say, Tiana's so funny, she should be a comedian. So one day after work, I stopped at this little spot for like Taco Tuesday, and they had an open mic. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, I'm gonna get up there and do something. And at this time, like, I'm really shy. Even still now, I'm like really shy. So, and I didn't drink because I was in the church at the time. And I was like, I'm going to get me a shot of something. And it was rum. And I'm going to get up there. And I did that. And I did like a funny 7 minutes just talking about my kids. And I was like, I think this is my path, because I had always envisioned me on stage doing something. But I thought it was going to be a singer. I don't know why, because I can't sing. But I thought that's what it was going to be.
Wow. How many kids do you have?
3.
I have 3.
Do you?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, what's the combination?
2 boys and a girl.
Okay.
Well, 2 adults and then adolescent. I have grown kids.
Girl, I have 2 boys and a girl.
How old?
7, soon to be 5, and 10 months.
Oh, you got little babies.
Yes.
And you so little. I don't know. I got overgrown adults, 6 feet, walking around in my house. It's terrible.
You could have fooled me, because you do not look like you have 3 children.
I know. Just don't start adding up the ages.
You are very beautiful, I have to say.
Thank you. I appreciate it. You too.
Now, let me ask you something. As a comedian, can someone learn to be funny?
I think someone can learn to be funny, but it has to just be something that's in you and that come natural, because it's just your charisma and your character of who you are, like even in everyday life. But of course you can learn it the same way you can learn how to act, because it's like putting on an act when you're on stage. You know, when people sing, they have music to fill in. When people rap, they have music and hype men to fill in. When you're a stand-up comedian, all you have is you.
Okay.
So you are the show. So if you mess up, it's no music to back you up. You can't catch up to a tune. It's like, so it just got to kind of be within you. But you can learn how to be an actor and act out something probably that somebody wrote for you. I believe you can.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can agree with that, being a singer. You know, you're born with a gift, and then it's up to you to kind of develop it. So,
you ever mess up singing and then the music had to fill in?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I think every artist goes through that.
Okay.
You know? You gotta roll with the punches, and I think that's how you learn.
Yeah.
I think that's how you learn.
Like for a comedian, if you mess up, it's literally just crickets. You're like, hello, is my mic on? And they're like, yes, we heard you. You're like, so this was a bad night.
Well, speaking of that, what do you do to develop your stand-up?
I just look back on my life. I try to, when I first started comedy, I didn't really know how it went. Like people were saying, do you have a set? Do you have a set? I didn't know what a set was, because on my first night, I just talked about what was going on at the time. And my son was 13 at the time, and I had caught him watching porn. So that's what I talked about, because it was really weird and really awkward. I didn't expect that. Like I asked him to use his phone, and he wouldn't give it to me. So I'm like trying to reach in his pocket to get a phone, and he's holding on to it. And when I pulled it out, it was like, oh yeah, baby, oh yeah. And I'm like, oh no. And so I had started watching it after that, but But so that was like my first introduction into getting up there talking about my life. So that's where I draw all of my comedy from. It's easier to remember the truth than a lie.
Okay, and well, speaking of that, what would you say some of the mistakes are that new comedians make? Is it better to be, authentic and
It's better to be
stem
authentic.
your
I
stand
think
up from that?
what a lot of newer comedians do, because they don't know the work that I actually had the pleasure of learning when I started, is that you have to develop yourself and know yourself, live life, and pull that from you. Now, new comedians are watching older comedians and or upcoming comedians and like kind of stealing material and switching it around to try to make it theirs, but you know it's not theirs. And so you could see, oh, that looked like Chris Rock, or oh, that looked like Martin or Kevin Hart. So I think that's a big mistake that they're making. Also, a lot of comedians are coming up from social media, and so they have a lot of followers. They've never did stand up, but people see them on the social media network and say, oh, they're funny. And when they go to do their stand up, they don't have anything to say, because with social media, you could stop. You could redo it. You could, add this into that. But when you're on stage, it's literally just you, naked and plain sight in front of everybody.
Right.
And so you have to learn how to do that. You have to go to open mics. You have to bomb many times. And doesn't mean change your story, because if your story is your story and it's true life, that just means, okay, they didn't laugh at that. Let me try it again with this effect. And then you have to do that at open mics.
Right. So, as far as what would you say your struggles have been? I mean, have you dealt with that in regards to being, when you were a newcomer to now being a vet and, really being wise in the game?
I would not call myself a vet. I started comedy December 10th of 2013. I just moved up really quickly because people say it's looks. I don't want to go into that.
Okay.
But by the second month that I was doing comedy, I was already in comedy clubs, and I was traveling with people, and I had met big people at the comedy clubs that chose to take me on the road. And so I don't think that I was ready yet, but you don't know whether you're ready yet because you don't know the game of comedy. Okay. But I made it through. I made the people laugh, and it led to bigger opportunities. So I started December the 10th of 2013.
Okay, and would you say that was what you were describing in regards to people not really being authentic? Did you have to develop that, or was that immediately you?
No, that was already me.
Already you.
That was already me. I didn't have to. I'm going to tell you what my struggle was in the beginning. I am a writer. I write poems. I write songs. I wrote a book that I haven't put out yet that's pretty freaking awesome. But I tried to write my comedy. Okay. And when I tried to write it on pen and paper, it just would not come out the same when I got on stage, because I'm trying to remember, what did I write? And I remember stuff by actually looking down at the paper, and I would get up there and draw blanks. So I would start it off, couldn't remember it. Now I'm looking at everybody to look at me, and I'm like, I forgot my line. So I don't write anymore. I just go off of what's happening at the time, and how I remember it, I say it. And the special thing about any comedian is your perception. Yeah. Your perception of things. You could look at one thing regular and like as a square, boring life, but I look at something and I see something completely different. And that is what I respect and like about a comedian, a real stand-up comedian, is the perspective that they give, and you can actually see it. They draw a picture so vivid that you laugh because you can see it as they tell it.
Who are some of the comedians that have inspired you, the real comedians that you look up to, that you've either been on tour with or not yet?
I love Samore. Hi, Samore, whatever. I love Samore. I've always been in love with Samore. I love MoNique. I had an opportunity. I've never performed with Samore. I reached out to Samore on Instagram, and she responded back like, come to my show. I went to Samore's show.
I saw the photo.
And I didn't say anything to her because I had met her before, but she was kind of short at the time. She was really busy. She was about to go back out on stage. She was hosting. But I was just like, I'm just happy to be here, right? Right. So then she reached back out on me and said, you came to my show and didn't come back to speak to me. I was like, wow. I'll be back again tonight. And so then I had a chance to talk to her. And with MoNique, I just showed up at the show, and I told her I was a comedian or whatever. So she was like, you are? She was like, you're so beautiful. It's something about you when you walk in the room, you just light it up. Wow. Come back tomorrow and perform. I was like, huh? Oh, Jesus.
And you did it.
MoNique said it. I said, MoNique said it, and it shall be. And so I went, Came back the next day, and she was just so freaking amazing. She had me in tears. She really did. And it was an experience that I'll never forget to see her work actually live. And I'm a comedian. I've watched on TV for many years. I honestly feel like it changed my life. It did. Like, the word that she spoke to me, I felt it in my soul. And I'm sure that anybody else who's had an encounter with her felt the same thing in the same presence.
In regards to any of the male comedians, who would you say you look up to?
Who I look up to? I don't know if I am so much now, but I was a really big Cat Williams fan.
Okay.
I love Cat Williams, and then Kevin Hart came out, and I love Kevin Hart. I'm gonna tell you what happened with this. I don't even want to say this. So I met the Plastic Cup Boys, Naeem and Spank,
Okay.
and I think at the time they had a comedian LaVar Walker on tour with them at the time. They came to Baltimore, and I was talking to them and everything. And everything was pretty cool, and so. I seen them again when they came back with the What Now tour, and I was like, oh, Spank hit me up and was like, oh, I got seats for you, this is it. And I went out there to the show, and it was just awesome because I love comedy, I love to laugh, and it's just, I enjoy it. So I got to go backstage, and I was like, I'll get to meet Kevin. Kevin wasn't there. Wow. Now, mind you, I am not a groupie. I've never been, but I was like, how can I get to see Kevin? Like, I cannot believe I have backstage passes and Kevin won't come out to the premiere. Everybody's taking pictures. All the the comedians and I guess the production or the people that was there were out there. Everybody was there except Kevin. And let me tell you, I was in the second seat from the first row, and so Kevin had popped out on stage, and I was like, Kevin, you know how all the time, like when you watch like a TV special or something, when everything get quiet, the one person be like, I love you, right? I did that. Yeah. I did that just for no reason. I told her, I was like, I'm gonna let him know, I love you. And so I was excited, and then when I went in the back, there was no Kevin. But I mean, I think he's still pretty cool. I love his work ethic. I'll meet him one day. But it's kind of like, you know how like with me working with the Queens of Comedy, and the only one I've never met was Laura. It was like with the Plastic Cup Boys, you see them coming up in the grind, and you're like, all right, the only person that I'm missing is Kevin. And then you don't get Kevin.
And Kevin wasn't there.
Well, he was there. He just wasn't there for me. So, it was other people that probably got to meet him. I didn't have that pass. It was fine, though. So I really like Kevin. I wanted to say that, and not just for his comedy. I love his grind.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's always doing something somewhere. He's very inspirational. He motivates me. And so those would be the people. Like, I didn't really grow up on the Eddie Murphy and Richard Pryor
You can
era.
appreciate it.
I was about to tell you that. I can appreciate it, but I didn't grow up with that. I love their stand-up, but the people that when I first seen Cat Williams, I was like, he's so funny. And I was falling out. And then, I don't know what happened with Cat at the time, but then Kevin Hart, I was like, he's so funny. And so, but at that time, I wasn't thinking I was going to be a comedian.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do you think social media has helped, or has it helped
I
your
hate
career?
social media. I know it sounds crazy. I'm going to tell you why.
Tell me.
Right when I was on the rise to stand-up comedy, and I was in all the clubs, and I was on a tour, and I was meeting all these great people, social media came into play, and I wasn't on it like that.
Okay.
This is the hate that comes in. I wasn't on it like that. So social media was going to a place that was like this. My stand-up comedy was going to a place that was like this. Social media superseded that. Which means people who had large followings, who had the influence, got precedence over stand-up comedians. So they were booking and paying them more for followers to come out. It's one of those things like asses in the seats.
Wow.
So I hated it. I still don't care for it, but I'm trying to be a part of it. But if you ask me, so what my struggle would be now is trying to get on social media and catch up with that, because I've never been a social media person.
Yeah.
But I am a stand-up comedian, and I love to make people laugh, but now I got to figure that part out.
Right, so you understand.
It's like I'm somebody, but I ain't nobody. It's one of those type of things.
There's somebody here, let's talk.
I'm somebody everywhere. But I mean, I got to say what it is when it is was need to be said. So, yeah, so it's one of those things. So I gotta learn that part of it.
Yeah. So with comedy, I know I heard you speaking of some other things that you like to do as far as writing poetry and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
What else would you say you're passionate about?
Just comedy. I live, breathe, sleep. I wake up out my sleep and I write jokes.
Wow.
I wake up out my sleep and I text myself a text about something that I just envisioned.
Wow.
I mean, I love my kids.
Yeah.
I'm not passionate about them though. I don't know if that's a bad thing.
I understand.
I'm like, you stay right there, I got to go on the road. I mean, I don't know. I got to figure that balance out, but.
I understand. But, I think in as a woman, you can kind of chime in on this. Sometimes we get faced with the career or the family. I'm
going to choose a career every time. I know it sounds bad. My mother said to me, she said, Tiana, you all worried about this comedy. What about the family? On your deathbed, you're not going to ask for comedy. You're not going to ask for the people that's in the audience. You're going to ask for your kids and your family. And I was like, I might. I don't know. Shoot, I mean, that's just because it's kind of like your youth is everything. I'm getting older every day. My kids are grown. So if I don't do it now, your energy changes, your metabolism changes. You got to run with it while you got it. If you don't, you'll get left behind.
Yeah.
So I feel like in any career or anything you have a passion about, you have to have a sacrifice. And unfortunately, sometimes it's family.
Yeah.
Because I can't make money sitting here in Baltimore. I have to get on the road and travel. I have to go to different cities and different states. You know what I mean? They have school. I can't take them.
Right.
But I can set up this legacy for them.
Yeah, I understand. What would you say to the woman that is struggling with that today, that's watching?
I would say go for your dream. I know it sounds selfish, but go for your dream. You only get one life. Live it to the fullest.
Yeah, I don't think that it's selfish. I think that, as a woman, a lot of times we sacrifice for everybody else. So I think it is okay to take time for yourself.
Imagine how many people passed away with their dreams, their talents, because they never went for it, or they cared about what everybody else thought, or now they got older, so they gave up on it because they don't have the energy. It's only one you, literally. Even a set of twins have their own identity and who they are and soul.
Right.
And I believe we're all born with a purpose. So if my purpose is to go out here and make people laugh, I need to do that. I need to touch people. I need to speak through my comedy. I need to touch their soul. I need to touch their spirit. This person might have just got up out the bed from having cancer for I don't know how long. This person might have been shut in the house with depression for I don't know how long. And these are just the emails that I got that said, you helped me with this. So if you can come to my show and laugh for an hour and a half, 2 hours, I feel like I did my job today. Yeah. If you can open up my page and I make you laugh because you had a messed up day, I feel like I did my job today. Yeah. I just spoke to your soul. Yeah. I made you laugh. Laughing is a natural emotion, just like crying. When you're sad, you have to cry. Right. Laughter is uncontrollable. You have to get that out. Let me be that one.
Yeah. Comedians are very necessary. And I think that in a lot of situations, you guys do have to talk about the awkward things. You do have to talk about the elephants in the room. But I think it's good because it brings some light to all of this heavy that's going on.
Absolutely. Let me tell you something. It's so many things I get on stage and talk about that I don't want to talk about. And while I'm up there talking, it come out. I'm like, I didn't want to talk about that. Right. But it's therapy for me. It's therapy for me. And I feel like there are other people out there going through it, and they needed to hear this today. And that's why it came out.
Absolutely.
Use me, God.
Absolutely.
My comedy is not clean comedy. But guess what? Something in me needs to come out, and I need to be used.
That's right.
Not one person is perfect.
That's right.
I'm far from it, but guess what? These people laugh when I get on stage.
That's right.
They feel healed when they leave. Now, they might go through some more messed up stuff tomorrow or tonight.
But they got
But
hope
while they were here,
at your show.
They were healed for about 1 hour.
I know that's right.
That's what I go after.
That is awesome.
Thank you.
And it's good that you look at it in that light. It's like a ministry, It is a ministry.
Let me tell you, when I tell you, I promise you, like, I believe I'm a very powerful person. I believe that we all can speak things into existence, but when I speak things, it actually comes true. And when I envision things, it's actually true. So that one time that I was into church really heavy and I was up writing, and just for one split moment, I seen myself on stage in front of all these people. I immediately called my mother and I said, oh my God, I'm going to either be a singer or a pastor. She said, why you say that? I said, I was just on stage in front of all of these people. I don't know what that was. And it was not long ago after that I was at the Baltimore Comedy Factory, and it was that same exact picture.
Yeah.
And the room was filled with like 350 people.
Wow.
And I was on a stage with the same curtains that I seen behind me when I envisioned it. So I know it's my calling.
Wow. That's awesome. And you're going to help a lot of people with that, because a lot of people feel like their age is hindering them. A lot of people feel like, you know, what other people think, you know, it hinders them because they're fearful of it. But to hear you speak it and to say it out loud is going to help hundreds of millions of people.
Let me tell you something that I love about comedy. You can never get too old to make people laugh. If I get 50, 60, even 70, I still can make people laugh. That's the one thing I love about comedy. You're never too old.
Yes.
Look at Rodney Dangerfield. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
Red Fox.
Yeah.
That's the one thing, like, even as a singer, you know, you sing.
Yes.
You speak to the people with your voice.
Yes.
Whoever says, shut up, you too old to sing. Nobody ever said that. When you're speaking to people's souls, and this is one thing that MoNique told me. She said, you have the power to speak something into these people. Mm-hmm. Give them real life.
Wow.
I was like, woo, child. That's like the best thing that anybody could have ever said to me.
Right.
Tell a story.
Tell a story. That's right.
Tell a story.
That's right. And share, because somebody else may be able to relate and overcome from that.
Absolutely.
When we were talking about your struggles, one thing I did want to ask you in regards to being an African-American female in the game, have you been treated differently? Do
I've
you
never
feel
had that
like
problem.
that? Okay.
No.
So you've never had to deal with, you know, them maybe favoring a man over you or paying a man more, or...
This is why I say I feel like this is my purpose, and God has given me favor in a lot of reasons. And
Yes.
I don't think it have anything to do with looks, and I hate that because that's what people gave me ever since I came in. Oh, she's not funny. She just looked good. That's what I heard from the sideline, which is very not true. But you have to remember, coming up, the only female comedians you saw that were funny were big and or fat. I hate to say that word like that, but that's what it was equated to for funny for women. So when you look a certain way, people look and say, as soon as you step out, like I got to go like this before I get on stage. Because the first thing they're saying, she not funny, make me laugh because you don't look funny. So that was one of my struggles. So what I would have to do is always go out and address the women first and get them on my side. And I had to downplay me and talk about myself because they sit next to their husbands and their boyfriend. Right. They don't want to see me up there. This one girl told me one day, I was at the Baltimore Comedy Factory. I'll never forget it because I always felt it, but I never heard it. And when I got off stage, it was like a line of people, and it was women. There's always women waiting for me, and I love that because I need that support from the women.
Yeah.
And she said, when you came out on stage, I said, she ain't going to be funny. She said, and I was laughing so hard, I had told my husband, he better not laugh. I had to do him like this and say, you can laugh now. And so I said, thank you. I hugged her so tight because that meant a lot to me.
Yeah.
She proved what I felt when I went out on stage.
Right.
And so that would have been a struggle. So when it goes back to my struggles, it has nothing to do with color. It has everything to do with how I look. I got to work harder because now I got to break myself down as soon as I get out here. Because I got to let y'all know I'm not perfect. You might think I look a certain way. But no, I got real life. It's some funny stuff going on here. But if you take away this and listen to what's coming out of here, I can speak something to you and it's funny. So that was my only struggle. I don't think I struggled personally as a female comedian. I think all the comedians, female comedians that came before me that broke that wall down.
Broke it down.
Or color, per se.
What is it that you would want your fans to know about you that they may not know?
I'm a very shy person.
Girl, bye.
I swear, I'm so shy. I promise you. I don't even like to take pictures after the show, and I feel bad about it because each and every person that supported me, I want to take a picture with them, but I hide in the back. That's the truth.
You know, a lot of people, though, that I meet that are out front in their art, they do say that they're shy.
I'm very
Like,
shy. I promise
when
you I'm
they're
shy.
not on stage and, you know.
If I do a video for like Instagram or Facebook, I have to look at it 51 times before I even
you
post it. Should I do
No, I know that feeling.
I hate it.
I know that
swear
feeling.
to God, I'm so shy, and I feel bad because I'm really not a people person. I can get up there and tell jokes to 1,000 people, but if it's me and 4 people in a room, I shut down. I won't even talk. I promise you, I'm working on that. That's what they don't know about me. Very shy, always been. Like, I remember when I was in 3rd grade and I had to go to a new school. This was a very awkward moment for me. That's why I got to bring it up. And you know how, like, when you're starting school late and then you got to stand in front of the class, and they're like, and so my mom took me to the school and I'm standing in front of the class and they're like, this is our new student, Tiana Douglas. I could not stop doing like this. I did that the whole time. And in my mind, I was like,
you were shy?
I was shy.
Wow.
I don't know what that was, but
well, you know, you sure don't act shy.
I'm about to do it now. No.
And you make plenty of people laugh, and you've made me laugh. Your spirit has resonated with mine.
Aww.
And you have a story to tell, and I think that's one thing that really captures people. You know, you're drawn to people, and that it captures their hearts and their listening ear. Mm-hmm. Tell us where we can, you know, see you again, and what stage you're going to be on next.
Honestly, I have it on my page.
Give us your Instagram. Tell us where we can follow you.
Which camera should I talk to? Which one wants
Pick
me?
one.
Who wants me? Okay, so it's comedian Tiana, comedian Tiana, and that's on Instagram and Facebook, and the flyers are posted on my page.
Okay. Well, here at Let's Talk, we always play a little game before we let our guests go. And today we're going to be playing the Let's Talk or Not game. Okay. So you're going to hold on to this little cue card, and you have a Let's Talk on the front, and you have a not on the back. Okay. Okay. Anything you don't want to talk about, you hold up the not.
I'm talking about everything. Who want it?
Okay. So we're just going to ask you, I'm going to give you 3 names, and you let me know if you want to elaborate, if you want to talk about it, if you don't want to talk about it. First person we're going to talk about. Or first one I'm going to ask you about. Catherine Pitt.
No.
Oh, you're not.
I don't know what she did with them books. I'm not saying nothing. I support all black women.
That's right. You got your own book coming out.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. I don't know what she did.
All right. Next person, R.Kelly.
He did it. I know he did it. There's too many people coming forward. I want to lock him in the cage.
Okay. Last person. No, actually not the last person, because I have someone else for you too. Jess Hilarious.
She stole all my jokes and put them on the tour. I said it. You brought her up for a reason. And that's it. And that's all. She knew what she did.
All right. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, moving along.
Okay. Woo, child.
President Trump.
I'm not going to talk about that man. I'm not. It's been enough said. I'm not talking about that man.
Okay. Well, you did a good job. We're going to give you a round of applause.
Thank you. I just trying to get a little tea from out there. And I gave you a little bit, too.
You know, yeah, we stay positive here on this show, but we always want to get everybody's story, you know? Because you may have something you want to share.
You've been looking me up. You've been looking me up.
Something you want to share.
I don't.
So, okay.
I don't. I don't try to be messy. I want to spread the love.
Awesome. I just want to thank all of our viewers for watching. I want to thank comedian Tiana Douglas for gracing our stage today. And again, if you know anyone that you think should be featured on Let's Talk, please log on to IncisiveEntertainment.com and send us some information on whom we should have as the next guest. I am your host, Shannon Ramsey Floyd. You can follow me at ShannonRamsey_. And thank you for watching. And remember, if you have something to say, let's talk.
I'm comedian Tiana Douglas, and you're watching Let's Talk.